All right, welcome to our city planning meeting night. We actually have a public hearing that we're going to take care of first of all. So I'll call this city planning public hearing meeting to order. In attendance, we have Commissioners Olson, Waller, and Veliker, and then we also have Justin Behrens, our Public Works Director, who's a voting member, and Mayor Brian Smith, and our City Administrator Aaron Jensen in attendance. So we have a rezoning request from James Cotter, who's in the audience with us tonight, for Jarmax LLC. This is a parcel on Commercial Drive that he's asking to be rezoned. Aaron, you want to add anything to that before we open it up for discussion?
Sure. Thanks, Mayor Smith. So this is just a rezoning request. As Mayor said, on Commercial Drive, parcel number 344110. There is no address assigned at this time. It is currently I-1, and it's being requested to be rezoned to R1. The future land use map does have it as low-density residential, so it would be in compliance with the future land use map for the purpose of a single-family residence. So that's about it.
Okay, so at this time then, we would take testimony in favor of rezoning this from I-2, you said?
I-1.
I-1 to residential, single family, residential?
Yep.
R1?
Yep.
Okay, so I-1 to R1. We get all these different acronyms here, everybody. And so we would take testimony in favor of that. Jim, you can certainly speak if you would like to at this time. You don't have to.
I can certainly, yeah, thank you.
You have to use a microphone though, because we're on.
So I'm gonna look for names. Here.
Okay. Just say, hey, you.
Well, thank you. I concur with your summary. So,
This is Aaron.
Aaron,
Yep.
I looked at the 2030 comprehensive plan map, and it's consistent with what's on the map for 2030 for low-density residential. So I think it would be a seamless transition to go to build a ranch, 2-bedroom, 2-bath ranch with attached garage. It would look nice.
Okay. So again, this is a public hearing. We will discuss this, Jim, when we get into city planning too, and you're almost right away on the city planning commission meeting tonight too, so we actually have, I guess, in a way, 2 meetings here to talk about your project here. So I'll continue here. If there's anybody else that would like to give testimony in favor of the rezone, just please raise your hand or step up to the podium, give your name and address for the record, and limit your time at that discussion of 3 minutes or less. Any testimony in favor of? Hearing none, is there any testimony in opposition? Any testimony in opposition? Seeing none, I'll declare this public hearing closed at 5:19 p.m. Let's go right into the City Planning Commission meeting. Welcome everybody to our regular scheduled City Planning Commission meeting. Today is Wednesday, December 4th. It is 5:19 p.m. I'll call this meeting to order. In attendance, we have Commissioners Gusky, Olson, Waller, Veliker, our Public Works Director, who's also a voting member, Justin Behrens, Mayor Brian Smith, who's a voting member, and then our City Administrator / Economic Developer, zoning, whatever else we can call him right now, Aaron Jensen is in attendance. So remember, we did not have a November meeting, so we're going back to, I guess first of all, we need to approve the agenda as printed. So if I can get a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Justin, second by Eric, that we approve the agenda. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. All right, we had some minutes from the October 2nd. We approved those, so we can place them on file unless you see something that you feel needs to be adjusted. I'd be looking for a motion for approval of these minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Olson, second by Olson, that we,
Second by Gusky.
Gusky, sorry. You can't do both, can you? To approve the minutes from October 2nd. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. All right, so we have, you want to do the rezoning?
Yeah, if you want to, we can do
Yeah,
that first.
let's switch those around. We'll do B and then A and then C. Okay, I'm a little dyslexic anyway, so let's do the rezoning for James Cotter, Jarmex LLC, which is on Commercial Drive. This will take an ordinance. This needs to be put in ordinance form to be approved. We did just have a public hearing. We did not have anybody but James Cotter speak at the public hearing, either in favor of or against it. Aaron, I'm going to just turn it back over to you to just give a quick summary again.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Smith. Plan Commissioners, you can see on page 7, there's a report on this item. You can see it's the triangular shaped parcel is circled there, just to the north of the airport. Again, this is currently zoned I-1 or light industrial, and the request is to change it to R1, single family, which does meet the future land use map, which is low density residential, so no issues there. There are some pictures too, I believe, of, yeah, just kind of like what a building package could look like. I know Mr. Cotter said in the public hearing, looking at a 2-bedroom, single-family residential home, and all setbacks, there should not be a problem. It is kind of a unique shaped lot, but setbacks should not be a problem. There is enough space there. So this is kind of step 1 of 3. If you were to approve this tonight, it would go then to City Council for a first reading, and then City Council for a second reading, and then it would be approved.
Okay, so we would, if it stayed on track, we would be doing an approval on January 7th. Is that the idea?
That's the idea.
Okay, all right. Anybody have any questions of staff or of Mr. Cotter, since he made the drive over here tonight from Wrightstown? Hopefully we have a good question to ask him.
Well, I was just wondering about the odd shape of the property. How'd that come about?
I don't know the history of that, actually.
I think it has something to do with
Oh, it probably does, yeah.
the landing strip,
The runway
the
production
runway.
zone.
Sorry.
The landing strip.
Okay.
The runway,
It-
the takeoff easement.
That's a fair assumption. It looks like it probably was.
It's a new
The
runway.
edge kind of runs parallel to the runway.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk
Depends
to.
if you're leaving or if you're.
Yeah,
Right.
no, try and clean it up. I did have a chance to talk to Mr. Cotter before. His father was a pilot, is that right?
He was a CFI at Waupaca Airport many years ago. I flew out of Waupaca, 50 years ago when I started flying. And, yeah,
That's
a lot of good memories. Actually, I drove by and I saw a deer out there, and I remember when we had to pull up so we didn't hit the deer, you know? 5 clicks to turn the runway lights on, so good memories, real good memories. My dad passed away, but I still think about the airport. It's very, very fond,
That's great.
yeah.
Again, as Aaron has explained, this is pretty straightforward. It's in our planning, 10-year plan, that it should be residential here, even though it's been zoned I-1. So it's a pretty simple move from, in this case, from I-1 to R1. So what we'd be looking for tonight, unless you had some other questions, is that we recommend to council this ordinance. Let me get the number on it again here.
1424.
Yeah, 14-2024. So if you're okay with this, we would recommend to council ordinance number 14-2024. Anybody?
So moved.
Motion by Justin,
Second.
second by Henry, that we recommend to council ordinance number 14-2024. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Good luck through the whole process here.
Thanks
Thank you,
for,
folks. Appreciate your time.
Thanks,
Yeah.
James.
Drive safe.
Thank you.
All right, let's go back to the certified survey map for 1990 Godfrey Drive, which is DSBS Incorporated. And Aaron, are you doing this or?
Yep, I'll
Okay.
take it.
All right.
So this memorandum is on page 3 of the packet. This is a B4 strip commercial. This is known better, I'm sure you guys would know it better as the ABC Computers lot. And the owner of that property is looking to divide the lot. It does meet all lot division standards. Community and Economic Development Department and all staff is recommending approval of this certified survey map, which is attached to the memo, as you can see. There is no buyer at this point or no proposed development. It's just kind of a preparation potentially for that in the future. Whenever you divide a property with a building on it, you have to make sure setbacks and everything, open space requirements are met on the property in which the building is staying. That remains fully in compliant. The only thing to really note here is there is a utility easement they worked with us on the north side of this property that you can see that's being recorded for the benefit of the city moving forward. Otherwise, again, this one's pretty straightforward. It will remain the same zoning, and we would recommend approval of this lot division.
Hey, remind me again who DSBS is.
Donovan Lane.
Oh, Don. All right.
But Dermatology Associates, I think, is operating out of his building now, right?
There's a whole bunch operating.
Yeah, there's,
Yeah.
Media places.
It's a multi-tenant building.
Yeah, it's
He actually
good.
went through some improvements lately to
Good.
meet those requirements.
Okay, anybody have any questions? We would need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Barron, second by Olson, that we approve the certified survey map for 1990 Godfrey Drive, which is DSBS Incorporated. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. Next up, we have a site plan review for the airport T-hangar, which we have an address of 2601 Runway Drive. Again, I'm guessing this is you, Aaron.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Smith. This one's on page 18 of your packet. This outlines, I'll just go right to the map. It's a little easier to look at it and explain it. Then we'll go back to the recommendation. So this is a project that's happening at the airport, and it's actually city-run, city/Bureau of Aeronautics run. And this is our T-hangar project that we've been talking about for quite some time. 90% of this will be constructed through BOA money. You can see here in the pink, this is the kind of the building envelope area. The yellow is the asphalt pavement or the apron for the T-hangars, and then the taxi lane is in blue. So this project is temporarily on hold, so when we ask for approval with this, it will be contingent upon the FAA signing the airport layout plan. So that airport layout plan needs to be signed before those dollars from the BOA and the entitlement money are eligible to be spent on this. So we just are trying to be proactive, getting ahead of it, anticipating that ALP will be signed. We have no reason to believe it won't be. We expected it to be signed months ago. It just takes a long time. Really, the only thing to note here, I think, is that the building envelope could change. So you'll notice in these attachments, there are different sets of building plans. 7-unit, an 8-unit, and a 9-unit. That's undetermined yet as to the size of it, and it just depends on how the bids come back. So obviously, we're gonna get whatever we can for the budget, for that entitlement money, and it may be 7 and it may be 9 units.
And the plan with these is the city then would rent these out, is that correct?
Yep, so, yeah, absolutely. So these would be city-owned and rented, and it would it'd generate approximately $24,000 to $25,000 extra per year in that first year, as rents raise, which they don't raise extremely rapidly for airport hangars, but they do periodically. That would go up from there. Right now, I think last year, the general fund subsidization of the airport fund was around $40,000, if I'm not mistaken, so this would take, approximately 25 off of that, work our way closer to 0 for that airport fund.
Well, and we would assume, well, I shouldn't say assume, but we would anticipate that if you fill those, or even if you don't fill them, that would also mean additional revenues in like fuel sales and things like that.
Yeah.
Too, because of that.
Absolutely, right. Increased air traffic, increased based aircraft, which helps us with funding, so all good.
Yeah.
I thought we heard a month or so ago that there was a waiting list.
Yeah,
That we shouldn't have to work too hard to get that filled,
should be
even
filled
at the 9.
pretty much immediately. I think our waiting list is like over 20,
Yeah, those are a big number.
so we could construct that and feel pretty confident that we could fill them. The only problem is once you do, this is considered a revenue generating project, and you can only do one of those every so often with BOA money. And we only have so much BOA money at this point. So otherwise, we'd probably be building 15 plus.
And I know this is probably not really addressing what we're talking about tonight, but some of those hangars are also going to have like bathroom facilities, running water in them and stuff like that too. Is that?
These are not.
Oh, none of them are now?
No.
Okay. I know we talked about it at one time.
We did.
Okay.
I'm looking at the 7 hangar building,
What page are you on?
23. There's 2 storage units. Is that, are we leasing, would we be leasing that storage or renting that storage, or is that for hangar owners?
So any storage is
They're pretty
actually
good-sized rooms.
for city or airport use, anything listed
Got it.
storage. So we will have some like IT equipment, because there will be Wi-Fi in these hangars, and there will be some things for heat and such as well. And then the rest will just be for general airport use.
Yeah, it looks like one has a garage door and the other one's swinging.
Right. Mowers, you could pull anything like that in there as well. Good question.
Well, with that many people on the waiting list, we can probably get at least 7 really good ones out of there too, and not, I know in the past we've had some situations where these hangars haven't always been used for airplane storage and stuff. So,
Yeah, that's a good point.
so we should be able to do all right there.
Well, speaking of which, I don't know if anybody knows this answer, but is there some sort of a lease agreement or stipulation or ordinance set in place that they have to be used for airplanes?
Absolutely, yeah. And
There
that-
is.
Okay.
Yeah, and Matt's worked hard to clean up some of those issues that the mayor mentioned.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
On the map where you showed the pink for the footprint of the building, the turquoise area, it said something about to be installed by others or something. Is that existing now, or will we have to build that?
This,
Yes.
that there? No, that is not there now, but that's a future driveway connection So we did have an idea of this plan when we put the sewer out there, so we worked with, I guess, Westwood on that. It's my understanding that would be built after the bid by the contractor that won the bid.
Correct.
Okay.
Turquoise.
So that's part of the
Teal.
90% being paid by BOA?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a really good project,
Oh, no,
obviously,
it's
for
gonna
the
be
airport.
nice.
So, we can't wait to get it started. All right, so our action tonight is to just approve the site plan review, if you're okay with it. So we'd be looking for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Dana, right? Motion by Gusky, second by Veliker to approve the site plan review for the airport T hangars at 2601 Runway Drive. Any further discussion?
Do we need the caveat of the 7, 8, or 9 hangar thing, or does it matter? Or BOA or whatever?
I would say that probably doesn't matter, but you could add in the caveat of the 6 conditions that I should have stated before. I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that the city has to follow the same exact zoning and airport rules that everyone else. So if we want to add those 6 conditions to
Which
the
are on
motion,
page-
which are on page 18, all pretty standard to any development, just the only one that's different is that ALP approval by the FFA, or the FAA.
Is the city fighting any of these?
The city is being very cooperative.
Okay, good.
With the 6 conditions.
So then does Dana have to amend his?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motion.
Dana, are you okay with amending that to include these 6 items?
Yes.
Okay. And Henry?
Oh, sure, yep.
Yep. All right. Thank you.
You bet.
Any other discussion?
I could be the clerk.
You could. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried.
I wouldn't want to do elections.
No. No, you wouldn't always want to sit next to me. All right, next up, we just have our monthly reports, which are probably 2 months' worth of reports here. So, Aaron,
Yeah.
short of not having J-Rod here anymore,
Yeah.
we need to do this too.
Yeah, from my understanding, these are all pretty standard in these reports. I did want to summarize a couple things. I just looked at the stack of permits that have been done this year, and it is a stack. It's huge. They've processed a lot in that department, 700 to 800 permits. Right now, the revenue that is associated with building permits is the highest that it's ever been, that we know of on record. It's over $400,000 in 2024 associated with that, and we're not done with the year yet. So it's been busy. Again, I think all these are standard, and would love to answer any questions if you have any.
How many lots are they doing in the 600 Oak Street? You ever had that conversation with that lady? I mean, they've done a ton, and I see they're still finishing up the AC units,
Oh, the mobile home park?
the mobile home park.
I know that
Are they doing new ones there?
Yeah,
Oh, they are?
it is over 15 new mobile home units.
yeah, I mean, they're really cleaning that area.
Yeah, it looks a lot different.
Doesn't it look nicer? Yeah,
Oh, really?
not the trash park anymore. Yeah,
I think it's between like 15 and 20, I
Ton
think.
of,
they're utility users too, so that's city water and sewer there too, which is nice.
We still have a master meter there serving that whole place?
We do, yep.
Anybody else? Anything else for the good of the meeting?
The only other thing, Mayor, if just we want to touch on a couple development things.
Sure.
So it's primarily housing, as everyone knows. We actually have, right now, in process, there are development agreements that will result in over 200 housing units, which when you put it that way, that's a lot of work that's happening right now. We have 2 buildings in the River North Cottages, which is the WIDA project that have gotten occupancy, and 3 more waiting on occupancy. So that project is really close to wrapping up. And then in that same area, Ticor has obviously started their street work, the infrastructure work. So they'll continue to work on that. That street that they're putting in is off of Royalton Street, and that will support the 35 single-family housing units. And then they've also started grading, if you've been over there, in between the bus garage and Carousel Gymnastics. And that site will be no public infrastructure, all private infrastructure, but that will support 124 apartment units. And then obviously, I think everyone has probably gone by the old St. Mary's site. That is going to be 30 apartment units, market rate, and that has obviously started to go towards the sky here as of late. The one thing I'll mention, just in case anyone's watching too, or in case you guys get questions, I've gotten a lot of people are like, hey, there's no way that meets setbacks. Well, it does. It's in our downtown district, and there's 0 foot setbacks in that district. What I tell people is it's not an uncommon thing to see that type of a design in urban areas. In smaller communities, we're just not used to it, but I think it'll look very, very nice when it's.
I agree. I think it's gonna look great.
Yeah.
It's an upscale
Yeah.
development too, so that'll be neat to see. Especially after looking at what was there before, and how it had gotten run down and stuff like that. It'll be a nice thing. I know the seniors are a little disappointed. They have to walk a little further to, like Hards.
Some of them may just get to live there and
Yeah, that
not
could
even
be.
have to drive.
Yeah, that's true.
So if somebody's interested in renting one, how are they gonna go? I got a neighbor that's asking about it, and I don't know what to tell her.
Good question. I just got an email this week, and I forwarded it to Tim, the owner. I haven't got a response yet. I just called him about an hour before the meeting, and I know he's very busy. Sometimes it takes 24 to 48 hours to hear back. But as soon as I hear back, I will let you know, so you can pass it along.
Okay, anybody else? All right, we need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Olson,
Second.
second by Gusky, that we adjourn until our January meeting, which will be January
7th.
Are we gonna do it on the 1st, or are we gonna do it on the 8th?
8th, sorry.
I think we're going to do the 8th. Yeah,
So we're gonna do the 8th? Okay,
that's all right with you.
yeah, that's fine with me. I don't think we wanna do it on the 1st.
I was hoping.
Well, you gonna have some hats and some horns down here?
Yeah, we could, yeah.
Streamers?
celebrate.
Bring in the new year down here.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun? All right, we're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
This is-